Uh, okay. Mit noch der Leben Yeshua's v'nechamos, we will still live to see salvation and compassion, which actually means good news. And I love this. Bimhera b'yameinu, speedily in our days. Jakob ist gestanden und noch geguckt, wie die Prom ruckt sich ab. Jakob stood and looked, off, looked at the ferry as it was receding, going away. Yaakov, okay, carry on. Yaakov, a little bit to the, yeah. Jakob hat nicht gesehen, kein Jeden zwischen die Passagieren. Jakob didn't see any Jews among the passengers. Der einzige Jid ist gewesen der Schader mit der weißer Bord. The only Jew was the messenger from the Holy Land with his white beard in der weißer Kapotte und mit der Abaya, with the white um, uh, jacket, with his white capote and with his white, I'm not sure what an abaya is, I assume a scarf or something. So hat geheucht von dem Jid mit a Kapitel Tanach. The Jew was just breathing away chapters of the Torah. Mit Mises von Jerusalem, with stories of Jerusalem, der Kotel Maravi, the Western Wall, Rochel's Kever, the grave of Rachel. Wer weiß, who knows, efter is allein Mashiach, who knows, perhaps he is himself the Messiah, is Yaakov eingefallen. That thought occurred to Jacob. Ist gestanden und gewahrt, bis die Prom ist zugeschwommen zum Arkecken überdicken Breg. He stood and waited till the ferry reached, sailed to the opposite coast, to the opposite side of the river. Hat angetappt die zwei Gulden in Keshene. He tapped at the 2 gulden in his pocket, the money that the Shadar had given him. Man hat geschickt auf ihm Jakob von Himmel gräuliche Zoras. From heaven they had sent to him, Jacob, gruesome troubles und äußerliche Christen and amazing comfort. Sorry. Oh, die Sarim, die Herren, oben haben gespielt mit ihm ein Spiel. The officers, the lords above had played a game with him. Jakob hat geschlungen Tränen. Jakob swallowed his tears. Hat sich jedes Mal der Mond und Saran. Every time he reminded himself of Sarah. Is a viele nicht gewesen bei ihr Kura. He hadn't even been at her burial. Hat a viele nicht gesagt kein Kaddish by her Kever. He hadn't even said any Kaddish at her grave. Die Augen seien ihm geworden nass und verstellt. His eyes became wet and covered, hidden. Hat Jakob verstellt. Jakob is her murder. He, Jacob, is her murderer. Taba is a gazlan. Lust is a murderer. Taba hargat. Lust kills. Hat in him geschrien, shouted in, something shouted within him. Hat sich umgekehrt in Kemerol. He turned around in the little room und sich weggesetzt auf dem Bankbett and sat down on the bench bed. Ich tor das Kind nicht verlieren. I dare not lose the child, hat zu sich gerät. He said to himself, ich muss es aufziehen. I have to raise it, educate it. Muss wissen, wer sie ist gewesen, sein Mama, und wie soll sie ist von der Welt weg. He has to know who his mother was and how she died, how she left the world. Jakob hat sich ausgezogen auf der Flachte, uh, auf der Plachte. Jacob stretched himself out on the sheet, as if übergedeckt mit der zerrissenen Caldera, covered himself with a torn blanket und genommen Drimmeln, and started dreaming, slumbering. Ist gelegen, aber nummerner wie in a Schlafkeit. He was as if possessed by a weakness or a faintness. Die Fähigkeit von dem, was hat mit ihm die Weitig von dem, was hat mit ihm getroffen. The pain of that which had happened to him. Ist nicht geworden schwacher, has not gotten any weaker or less, nor starker, but stronger. Hat erst jetzt benommen die Bruch. He now only understood the disaster, der spürt, wie groß ist seine Liebschaft, felt how great his love had been, zu der dosiger Freu, was es gewesen beteva, to this woman who was by nature mamash von geboren, in reality from the time she was born, at mima, at status, someone who was humble and righteous, good, klug, clever, untertänig, humble again, would give of herself, gläubig, believing, ohne Tropfen Bitterkeit, without a drop of bitterness. A viele in Zeiten von der ärgsten Not, even in times of the greatest need, und die gräulichste Gefahren and the most frightful dangers, hat sie im keinmal gar nicht vorgehalten. She never vorgehalten is, she never reproached him. Vorgehalten, okay. She never reproached him. Allemal a reisgewissen Geduld, always showed patience, Liebschaft, love. Was ist das ihr gekommen? Why did this happen to her? Was ist das ihr gekommen? Oh, it's just repeated the same thing. Why did this happen to her? Hat etwas in Jakob gerufen, something in Jakob called out. Why did this happen to her? So viele Weiber geboren Kinder ohne mich schon. So many women have children without any stumbling blocks. Und sie hat gemusst sterben in Kindheit, and she had to die in her in giving birth. Jakob hat sie verglichen in Gedanken zu der Mama Rachel. Jacob compared her in his thoughts to Mother Rachel, was his ungestorben Jakob auf dem Weg in Ephrat, who died when she gave birth to Jacob on their way to Ephrat. Die Liebste starben allemal früher. The most loved always die, excuse me, earlier. Also ist das upon him. So it appears, gewesen von ewiger Zeiten on. That's the way it appears to have been, even from long ago. Ist eingeschlafen und hat sich aufgehabt. He fell asleep and he woke up. Der Zar hat ihm übergeweckt. The trouble, the pain, woke him up. Ich bin nicht gewesen zu ihr genug gut. I wasn't good enough to her. Hat sich vorgeworfen. He reproached himself. Hab nicht getort verlassen, sie soll sich machen für eine Stimme. I should not have allowed her to pretend to be mute. Und Äußeren von die Weiber, Siedlereien und Sport. And here curses and teasing from the other women. Job had to another word for Zitlereien is curses, but also abuse. Zittelzi. Anyway, carry on. Had gedacht, weg mit ihr in die türkische Medinas oder ich weiß wie, or ich weiß wo. I should have gone away with her to the Turkish countries or who knows where else. In der Zeit, wo sie hat getrogen, habe ich mich zu viel abgegeben mit der Arende. At the time when she was carrying, I devoted too much of my time to the farm that I was looking after, to my relationship to the poets from whom I'd hired, who I was working for and hired drawing from him. Nicht einmal hat sie mich gebeten bei Nacht, als sie will noch reden. Not once did she say, more than once, she said to me at night that she wants to talk more. I said in Mises from Tanakh, hear stories from the Bible, when der Gomorrah and from the Gomorrah, aber ich hab gewollt schlafen, but I wanted to sleep. Etliche Mal hat sometimes Jacob Jacob sich mit ihr übergewechselt. Sometimes he had exchanged strong words with her. Einmal hat viele in sein Zorn sie aufgetan. Once, even in his anger, he called to her Zhikicha, which was her maiden name. So this was a form of abuse. Sie zu scheinen, jener was wir haben.
Skip the line.
Sie hat sich damals vergossen mit Tränen, yeah. She poured out tears at that time. Wei, oh dear, wir wissen nicht, wie zu scheinen, jener was wir haben lieb. We don't know how to appreciate those whom we love. Whatever's in Yaakov geplagt, something complained in Yaakov. Wir wissen sich erst damals, wenn es ist schon zu spät. We only remind ourselves of that when it is already too late. Wenn kon l'chol hapachot line neben ihr kever, if at the very least I could be near her grave, gehalischer Gedank is ihm eingefallen, a terrible thought came into his brain. Reus zu graben ihr Körper von dem Gruf und wo man hat sie reingeworfen und ihm mitnehmen mit sich, wo geht. To dig out her body from the grave. Well, it's not a cave. They put her in a pit, from the pit where they threw her into because she wasn't Jewish, and take the body with him wherever he goes. Had nog gewollt gucken auf ihr Ponem. Still wanted to look at her face, mega sein toit und I feel verfehlt, whether even though it's dead and may even be decaying. Had nog begehrt zu kuschen ihre lips, and he still wanted to kiss her lips. Had gehad bedürfnis zu reden zu ihr, when ihr zu sagen, wie groß ist sein Bänkschaft. He still had a need to speak to her and to tell her how great was his yearning for her. In dem Schmerz hat Scheider gehabt, der Mond hat Jakob mit müssen Chasna haben. In his talk with him, the messenger from Israel, from Palestine, had said, reminded him that he, Jacob, will have to get married again. Those kind soll haben a Mutter, the child should have a mother. Aber von dem bläusen Gedank ist Jakob durchgelaufen, a Kelt über den Rücken. But with this thought, Jacob felt running through him a coldness over his back. Und es hat ihm ein Schlag getan zum Brechen, and he felt like vomiting. Hat gewusst, dass wird mehr keinmal nicht können sich den lenteren zu iemand anders. He knew that he would never be able again to near himself to anyone else. Megena sein die größte Eshet Chayil, if the other should be the most valorous woman in the world, I suppose. And I think my voice is going, so it's somebody else's turn.
Okay, I'll do a little bit. Ja, die Strophe ist gekommen. Yes, the punishment had come. Jakob hat nicht gedacht warten auf ein Gehinnom. Jacob didn't have to wait until he was in hell. Hat sich schon jetzt geprägelt auf gleiche Heulen. I'm sorry, could Jakob or Michael help me with that translation?
That's Glika, glowing coals. He was frying himself on glowing coals.
Glowing coals.
Sich geweigert auf ein Stechbettel, gefallen von Schnee in Feuer und von Feuer in Schnee. He was going from feeling as though he was in a fire to feeling as though he was freezing in the snow, and back in the fire and back in the snow. Malachi Kabbalah haben schon gepasst.
The Stechbettel, I mean, he's thinking of the punishments of hell. So he's on a Stechbettel, a bed of nail.
Oh, thank you. Malachi Kabbalah, what does that mean?
Malachi Chevla is the angels of hell.
Oh, the angels of hell haben schon gepasst sein Leib mit brennendiger Ritter. I'm sorry, I need help with that too.
Let Yaakov do this one.
Please.
Okay, so the angels from hell haben gepasst. They struck his body with burning rods, ritter or rods.
Oh, es tut weh. Oh, that is painful. Hat Jacob gekriegt. Jacob gekriegt, he moaned. Good. Soll wehtan. Good. Let it be painful. In ein Rege ist ihm geworden klar, was Jakob muss werden. And in a moment, it became clear to him what Jacob, must believe, must do. Approach
must become.
Must become. Approach was
what he should
kein
become.
Fleisch. So he must become a spirit that eats no flesh, trinkt nicht kein Wein, drinks no wine, schläft nicht in kein bed, and sleeps in no bed.
A porish is someone who withdraws from the world.
A recluse?
It's a recluse, yeah, that's the good word.
Mm.
Yes, okay. Muss abkommen für seine Sünd. He must atone for his sin. Muss sich ticken, Winter in kalte Caves und Sommer
Mikvahs.
Mikvahs. So in the winter he must be in bathe in cold water. Und Sommer
immerse himself. He must immerse himself in cold ritual. A mikveh is a ritual bath.
Ja. Und Sommer sich weigern in Berichts und Stecherts. And in the summer, please help me again, Yaakov.
Yeah, Brichts is stinging nettles. He should he needs to lie around in stinging nettles and stechexar thorns.
And thorns. Sich losen broten von der Sonne. He must let himself be burned by the sun. Beißen von die Fliegen und Comares, and let himself be bitten by the flies and the mosquitoes. Muss tun teshuva ganz leben. He must make amends for his entire life, bis in letzten Atem, until his last breath. Ton teshuva und beten Mechila sei bei Gott und sei bei der heiliger Neshama, was hat verpeinigt. He must beg for mercy from God and from the holy soul, which he had verpeinigt, to which he had caused such pain.
Yeah,
Was denn
tormented.
noch ist ihm geblieben? Sorry?
Tormented.
Tormented, which he had tormented. What more was there for him? Efter wird in Suches von der
In
Tshuva,
schus.
in Schus von der Tshuva, nicht dürfen lang sich Amor drehen auf dem Eulam Haschaffel der niedriger Welt und kommen was Gicher zurück zu ihr. Probably he should endure this atonement for not for long. And I'm sorry, Arum drehen auf dem Oilem Heshvel. Could you help with that?
Yes. So it's in the perhaps efter wird in schus von der tshuva, perhaps in the merit of the repentance, he would nicht darfen lang sich herumdrehen auf der Oilem Hashachel, that he wouldn't have to be around in the world below, the niedriger Welt, the world below.
In another world.
Und kommen
and come as soon as possible back to her.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for helping. I think.
Es ist ihm durchgefallen, rein als
Rayon.
rein, als auf jene Welt kein Amul soll da la ein Wellen für sich. Can you help me with that? That somehow is ein durchgefallen. It fell through a goyen as oiv jene Welt kein Amul soll do la ein Wellen für sich. Then maybe on the other world it'll be something for him.
Yeah, so es ist ihm durchgelaufener Rayon. A thought went through his mind as auf jener Welt and in the world to come kon amol zelde leia im wellen für sich, that zelde leia would want to have him for herself. And I can't remember who this Zelda Leia was. Was it perhaps the woman that he was that they made a shidduch for him?
No, I think Zelda, was Zelda Leia his first wife? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Sie ist doch oben
Ja,
mit Kinder. And she's up above with the kids. Aber Jakob hat sich geentfert, als sollte lo wat
Leah.
huh?
Zelda Leah.
Zelda Leah wird ihm mehr nicht begehren, nachdem was hat abgezogen nach ihr Tod. So he's not going to forgive her for what he did after her death.
So she was actually, that was the first wife who was
The
killed
first wife.
in the Khmelnytsky massacres.
Yeah.
All right, so Zelda in seinen nicht von ein Schrei Neshama. So they're not from the same soul. Viele beim Leben sein nicht gewähnt kein Paar. And even when they were alive, they weren't a pair. Sie spart Mistama in ein Almus via hin der Balguf wird kein Mut nicht der gleichen. So that means somehow he isn't going to make it ever. Right?
He's actually putting himself down. He's calling himself a Baal Guf.
Ah.
I will never reach the same place as Zelda Leah.
Aha. So was scheich die Kinder schweigen avade seine heilige Neshumas beim Kasse
Kisei
Hakavod.
Hakavod. Kisei Hakavod.
Kisei Hakavod.
Yeah. Well, Kisei Hakavod, because it's Yiddish, Hakavod, although it's Hebrew.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to take.
Okay, so was scheich die Kinder schweben avader seine heilige Neshomas beim Kisei HaKovod. As regards the children, they are certainly hovering. Their holy souls are certainly hovering near the holy, the throne of God. Kein größere Kedoshim wie verpeinigte Kinder is gar nicht gemalt. And no greater holy ones, martyrs, than tormented children. There can never be greater martyrs than these tormented children. Jakob is gehat gegangen auf den Weg, kein Pilitz vernacht. Jakob left on his way to Pilitz in the evening. Spät in Abend is wieder gewesen in Pilitz. Late that night, he was once again in Pilitz. Die Lodens seinen schön Umtum gestanden verspart. The shutters were all over, had already been barred. Pilitz is geschlafen. The town Pilitz was sleeping. Aber die Levone, schon kimata fulle, hat gewacht in Himmel und hat neben ihr gefinkelt a Stern. The moon was almost, it was almost a full moon. which guarded in the heavens, and near to her there was sparkling a star, lichtig und schimmerdig, full mit weitweltischer Tog. So the star was bright and sparkling and full with, as if full with the the brightness of the far distant day. Die Pilitzer Jiden haben schon gehabt aufgestellt Sukkos. The Jews of Pilitz had already set up their sukkahs, their tabernacles. Man hat sie schon gedeckt mit schach. They had already covered them with schach. Do und dort ist noch a Sukkah geblieben, nicht gedeckt. Here and there a sukkah remained that had not yet been covered. Oder es hat ihr gefehlt a Wand, or it lacked a wall. Yankov ist gegangen und an der Seite hat ihm Baleit a Schotten. Yaakov went, and next to him there followed a shadow. Hat getrogen a dembenem Stecken. He was carrying an oak staff. Und in Boezemkeschene hat gesteckt a Messer, was Watzlaw, der Promführer, hat ihm geborgt. So Yaakov, he was carrying in. Oh, he was an oak staff, and in his chest pocket there was had been placed. There was sticking the knife which Watzlaw, the ferry driver, had loaned him. Yaakov hat nicht Bedehe gehabt, sich zu losen Chappen von Dragoner oder von anderen Tkifim. Yaakov didn't, he didn't, it wasn't, he didn't intend to be caught by dragoons or any other powerful people. Gewinn great Makayim zu sein dem Zog. Der, was kommt dich zu hargenen, feder dich und harge ihm. He was prepared to carry out the saying, if someone comes towards you to kill you, rise up and kill him. Ist gich vorbei dem Mark und ist zugekommen zu dem Haus, wo Sora ist gestorben. He quickly walked past the market and arrived at the house in which Sora had died.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Goof. Okay. nicht der Guf und euch nicht in die Schumme noch etwas fanden. Here, okay, here we go. Says dort gewein stockfinster, Simon as mat schoin dem Mas nehmen. So it was really dark. The stock finster it's really dark.
Pitch black.
Simon, and what is a Simon?
A sign.
Aha. As mat schoin dem Mas nehmen.
Mace.
So they took,
The mace.
a mace.
Yeah.
Okay, so they took it out. Rausgenommen.
Yes.
Nicht der Guf und euch nicht in die Schumme. Not the body and not the soul. Nor etwas verkriegt. But
Oh,
something crawled away.
You've skipped a few lines.
Yeah,
Uh,
I skipped a few lines?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jakob
So-
ist gestanden.
Hat gespielt.
well, one line above that.
Aha.
Jakob ist gestanden.
Okay. Rausgenommen. So Jakob is gestanden. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So er is gestanden a while far der Tier. So he stood a while by the door. Beherrscht fin a englischen Vergad.
Achad.
Effort.
Oh, so what would that mean? Beherrscht.
The childish fear. English is Engel is a little boy.
Yeah.
Englischen, it's an adjective, and a youthful fear, as if he was a little boy.
So
Because- He
hat gespielt als die Teute. And the Teute is unweinig, in a weinig. So that he felt that the dead were inside. Nicht der Guf und euch nicht der Neshama. Not the body and not the soul. Noch etwas
fortig,
Oh,
fearful,
fortig.
fearful, fortig.
Aha. Ze schwiegt. What's that word?
The Schäubers.
Geschoibet was warten moire a viele auf dem Newton. So something about the fear came over him, even on his, even close to him. Hat a Stipp getan, die Tier, und sie hat sich geöffnet. So he pushed on the door and the door opened. Die Stieb hat ausgekickt in der Schein von der Lagune wie a Chorva. So it looked like in the moonshine, like I'm not sure what a Chorva is.
A ruin.
Oh, a ruin, okay. Ausgelegt, beworfen mit Streu. So it was all messed up with straw. Samatis.
Schmattes.
Oh, schmattes, yeah, schmattes in rags. Moet opnemen.
Upon him.
Huh?
What upon him?
Oh, with his face. What upon him?
No, upon him means apparently.
Oh, upon him, okay. Mit der gewein die Teute do eufen Oret. So apparently the dead were laying there on the ground.
Now, what it means is mataher gewen die Teute do auf dem Ort means when in Jewish ritual they cleanse the body. Mataher is to purify the body. Die Teute, they purified the dead person on the ground over here, and the Zimmer was ausgeledigt. Ausgeledigt is emptied out. Obviously, people had removed everything from the room.
Okay, so mod geheet als arois genommen alle malvishim, alle chaftzim, en afile die toit van oiven. So mod geheet, one heard als arois, and we heard everything being taken out. Alle malvishim, what are malvishim?
Clothing, all the clothing.
Aha. And alle choftzim, and afile the tep, been oim. So they took whatever it was, the choftzim and the pots from the oven.
Yeah,
So oif the betten.
Chafutzim are articles.
Oh, articles. Aha. So oif the betten haben sich gewalgeret the Streue Zecke. So on the bed, the straw bags were unleichlicher. So they were laying on the bed.
Yeah, so on the beds, the straw bags were lying without sheets. A lilac is a sheet.
Yeah. So they were laying on the sheets.
So there were no sheets. It was just the plain straw
unleilige,
bag.
without sheets. Unleilige. Okay. Schota slog geton auf Jakob Arier in licht sich lichts. Feulige?
Feulichts.
And what's that?
Feulichts is the K.
Oh.
So,
Folie, yeah.
Schlugeton.
Yeah, so gefolie.
The smell of the K hit him.
Ah.
Okay, so sort of Schlugeton af Jakob in a reich von Feulichts. The smell of decay hit Jakob. Und noch etwas Unheimliches und Stickiges. And something else which was disturbing and stifling. A Steiger wie der Meis, was man hat von dannen herausgetragen, wollt gewinn a strenger, a feindlicher, as if the dead person that they carried out of there would have been strict, hostile, and strict and hostile. Und übergelost hat a Knäuel Schreck, was machen gliveren das Blut in die Oderen. So this the dead person that they took out is as if that was strict and hostile and had left behind a cloud of fear which made the blood in one's veins as frozen. A viele die Kälte da ist nicht gewinn kein Spätsommerdicker. even the chill here was not that of the late summer, nor schon a winterdicke, but it was already a wintry chill. Was tut sich mit mir? What's happening to me? Wie kon ich mehr haben vor ihr? How could I possibly be afraid of her? Sie ist doch mehr netter wie mein eigen Leib, hat Jakob sich vorgehalten. She is closer to me than my own body, Jakob reproved himself. Hat gelost offen die Tür. He left the door open. Das Herz hat ihm gesetzt. His heart literally, it was as if it was spurting, so his heart was beating fast. Hat schwer geatmet, and he was breathing heavily. Hat genommen Nichteren in Streusack, aber es ist ihm gleich geworden klar, als das Geld, was hat dort behalten, hat man herausgenommen. He began to rummage in the bag of straw, but it was immediately became clear to him that the money which he had hidden there had been taken out. Ganovim, thieves. Bald noch Yom Kippur, immediately after Yom Kippur. Mistoma haben es getan, die Chevre Kadisha Leid. It was the most probably the people of the Chevre Kadisha, of the burial society, who had done this. In dem ganzen Bedrängnis hat angenommen Jakob Azoren. In this whole situation of anxiety, a rage overtook Yaakov. Man hat ausgeledigt sein Stub. They had emptied his house of whatever was inside it. Die Beräubte seinen allein Rabierer. Those who had robbed were die Beräubte seinen allein Rabierer. The robbers themselves had pillaged. Wer kon der nimmt? Whoever could had taken things out. Es ist a Welt von Chappers. It's a world of people who grab whatever they can. Hat etwas in Jakob sich gebezert. Something in Jakob was scolded. Morgen bei Nacht wollen sie sitzen in Sukkah und verbeten die Uspisen. Tomorrow evening they will sit in the Sukkah and invite in the guests, the spiritual guests. The Uspisen are spiritual guests who each night there's a different one that comes, visits the Sukkah. Avram Avinu, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, and so on and so forth. These are the spiritual visitors who come into the Sukkah during each night a different one. Afile die paar Sforim, was hat gehabt, haben gefällt. Even the few religious books which he had were missing. Nu Knekht bin ich a Reus von der Mammes Tracht und knekht will ich sich hin umkehren. So, naked I came out of my mother's womb, and naked I will return there. Is a Reus und getona kush die mezuzah. He went out of the house and he kissed the mezuzah. Zion Edis, be a witness, hat zu ihr azogeton. He said to the mezuzah, be a witness. Hat sich gelost spannen zum Besalem, and he strode off to the cemetery. Noch von der Weitens hat der Sinn das frische Käfer. Even from a distance, he saw the fresh grave. A frische Bergel Erd, weit abgeruckt von die andere Quorum. It was a fresh mound of earth set aside from the other graves. Kein Pleut haben die Kohleit noch nicht gehabt aufgestellt. The community had not yet put up a fence. They hadn't yet put up a fence. Ist zugekommen zum Bergel und hat dort gesteckt a Brettel. He came to, he approached the mound, and he saw that there was a plank was sticking up from it. Sie ist gewesen aufgeschrieben mit Tint. Hoi nit mon Sora bas Avraham Avinu. Here it lies buried Sora, the daughter of Avram Avinu. So because she wasn't Jewish, that's the name they give to a convert or someone. Yeah, that's the name they give to a convert. Bas Avram Avinu, the daughter of Avram Avinu. Jakob ist gestanden in die Augen Jakob ist gestanden und die Augen seien ihm geworden verlaufen. Jakob stood and his eyes became fogged up. Do a paar Tritt, die tief ist sie gelegen, Wanda Sora. Die Freu, was hat also stark lieb. Here, a few feet down, she was lying, Wanda Sora, the woman who he had loved so deeply. Hat gewollt sagen Kaddish, nor hat ihm geworgen in der Kell und seinen nicht herausgekommen kein Wörter. He wanted to say Kaddish, but his throat choked and no words came out. Hat mehr gar nicht gesehen. He couldn't see anything because of the tears in his eyes. Die Levone hat sich wie ausgeloschen. It was as if the moon had the light of the moon had gone out. Und hat sich gebeugen. Und hat sich gebeugen an eingehielter in Finsternis. So the moon, it was as if the moon had gone out, and he bowed down and was enveloped in the darkness. Hat sich getan, warf nieder, he threw himself down, eingepresst das Ponym in Sand, and he pressed his face into the sand. Angeschlagen dem Stern on brittle, and he beat his forehead against the plank. Sora, Sora, wo bist du? Sora, where are you? Hat etwas in ihm geschrien, something in him cried out. Bin da neben dir. I'm here next to you. Hat geleucht wie great zu hören ihr Call von Dredd. He, as if listened and was prepared to hear her voice coming out from the earth. Wie wohl wollt mir gewinn, wenn ich lieg da und sie kommt auf mein Käfer. I would rather that it was I that were lying here, and that she would have come to my grave. Hat zu sich gesagt, he said to himself. Es hat ihm wieder angenommen, a Cheshek, sie aufzugraben. And once again, he had the desire to dig her body out. Hat gewollt, reinstecken die Hand in dem Sand. He wanted to stick his hand into the sand. Suchen ihr Guf, noch einmal reinrieren ihr Achsel. So to stick his hand into the sand to search for her body, once again to touch her shoulder, ihr Kopf, ihr Hals, to touch her shoulder, her head, her throat. Metornisht, one cannot do this. Metornisht. Says Mishugas. One can't do this. This is this is a madness. A chilul hames, a desecration of the dead person. Hat sich gewarnt. He warned himself. Vater in Himmel, ich will mehr nicht aufstehen von dannen. Father in heaven, I don't want to stand up from here. Efscher willen zij mich legen neben ihr. Perhaps they will place me next to her. Hat gewusst, als sie sind, aber hat gebeten auf sich dem Tod. He knew that it was a sin, but he begged death upon himself. Als in ihm hat gewollt sterben, everything within him wanted to die. Genug herumgewogelt auf dem Emek Habochel, Tal von Gewein. He had, it was enough for him to have been wandering in the valley of tears. Alle meine Neunte seien dort, nicht da. Hat vergessen an dem Kind. Everybody, the people close to me are in the other world. he had forgotten about the child, Sora's, that Sora had given birth to. Is gelegen und gewart auf den Tod. He was lying at the grave, waiting for death. A while hat sich ihm ausgeducht, as die Keuches rinnen aus von ihm. For a while, he imagined that his strength was trickling out from him. Die Fies seien ihm geworden matt und hilzern. His feet became dull and wood-like. Der Meuer is geworden wie versteinert. His mind became as if petrified. Hat ungeheuben wie einschlafen mit dem Schlaf von Tod. He began to fall asleep with the sleep of death. Bald hat sich übergeweckt, but immediately he woke himself up. Nein, man hat nicht der Herd sein Tefillah. No, they had not heard his prayer. Hat sich aufgestellt und genommen sogen Kaddish. He stood up and he began to recite the Kaddish. Hat gefunden das umgelegte Brettel und es zurück reingestellt. He found the plank which had fallen down and he set it up again. Die Teute hat geschwiegen, but the dead remained silent. Upon him nicht gehad kein Reshus zu rühren. Apparently, they didn't have the authority to move. Oder efsher,
It's Raiden. It's Raiden, not
Sorry?
to speak. It's not Rieren, it's Raiden to speak. It's not
Raiden, yes, sorry, you're quite
Sorry.
right, sorry. Yes, they didn't have the authority to speak. Oder efsher weist sie a viele nicht as is do, and perhaps she didn't know that it was he that was here. So the Toita is the dead Sora. Remained silent. She didn't have the authority to speak, or perhaps she didn't even know that he was there. Efscher is der Teuter in ganzen nicht neben sein Käfer, or perhaps the dead body is not even near its grave,